everyone. I'm going to do a screencast here on I'll focus on the references page. And I think I'll be using about 4 different student papers here. So feel free to stop this video as we go along and take some notes about things if you so desire. I'm going to try and go through some of the corrections I see needing to be made using some of your papers, and which I thank you all for. And then you can go back and make the corrections to your own. So here I have Danielle's paper, and this is the title page. The first thing I see is that it's missing page number 1. It should be listed right here. But this running head looks good. Her title in all caps looks good. She has these 3 lines, her title, her name, Front Range Community College in the half to upper third of the paper. So I'm scrolling down. This title is being a little uncooperative. It needs to, I'm just going to highlight it here, it needs to be right there at the top. Let me scroll up. At the very top of page 2, you have your running head in all caps, left justified, page number 2, and then we don't have an abstract, you don't have a heading of intro. Instead, you have the title of the paper repeated right here, centered. Okay, so scrolling down really quickly, she's got 2 in-text citations, which look great, Hockenberry, comma, Nolan, comma, and Hockenberry. I sometimes don't use this comma here, but either way would be fine. After the comma, then you have the year of publication, 2016, end parenthesis, and the period here. Not back here, but right here. So this is correct. Nice job. And then because it's 3+ authors, the second time you use this particular in-text citation, I feel like I've shared this with almost all of you, instead of writing out all 3 names, you use the abbreviation et al. So you use the first name, Hockenberry, and then the abbreviation ET space AL period, comma, year of publication 2016. End of parenthesis, and here's the period again. All right, let's move quickly to the references page. So again, you'll see the running head, all caps, left justified and as a header, and page 3 is over here. So this is good. She's got references right at the top. That's perfect. But then we have some corrections here to make. So let me do this on this page pretty quickly. First of all, your author names, you will be including initials here, 2 initials because they're supplied with the textbook material. So Hockenberry, comma, S period, E period, comma, and then Nolan, and she is S period, A period, and then there's another comma here, and then Hockenberry, well actually after that comma, you can have that comma or not, but then you need and. Hockenberry, the second Hockenberry, so the first one is Sandra, the second is Dan, I believe it's Dan, and then D period, H period. All right, so you need to get all the last names and then the initials. Now remember the initials, they weren't needed on the citations in the paragraph, but here in the reference section they are required. Okay, so the next thing that we need is the year of publication. So we know that's 2016. It's in parentheses, and then after the parenthesis there, we have a period instead of that comma that was there. So I just corrected that. So now she has the title of the textbook, Discovering Psychology, and that's in italics. That's great. When you do a textbook or a journal article or whatever, you capitalize the first word. So in this case, it would be discovering, and any other proper noun. So psychology would also be capitalized here. After that, again, she's got a comma, and instead of the comma, we want a period. Whoops, getting too much there. So we're going to replace that comma with the period. And now, interestingly, we have to put in the addition, but it is not in italics. It will be in regular font. So this as you can see in looking at your material, your textbook is a 7th edition. So you're going to write 7th, and then ED abbreviates edition, period, end parenthesis, and another period right there. Then Danielle has the city, New York, comma, the state, abbreviated NY, capital NY, colon here, and then Worth Publishers. And this could be either Worth Publishers or just Worth, and a period finally at the very end of this. Now there are a couple of more things here that are going on. One is that you have to have double spacing throughout your entire paper, and that includes the reference section. So I just put in another line here in between. And then there's also what's called a hanging indent. So that needed to be tabbed in one time. So here is the reference. I'm going to pause this here, and then I'm going to show you a second paper in just a moment. So this is Courtney's paper, the second paper that we're looking at. She does have this number 1 here on the header, which is good. I'm looking, there's something odd going on here when I hold up my ruler, my handy dandy ruler. I'm not sure the 1 and the running head are on the same line, so she might want to check that. But the wording here is correct, and this little h instead of a big H is right on. Then it looks like she has this going well with Broca's area. I'm not sure, but there might be an apostrophe between the A and the S. Broca was the man's last name, so if it's Broca's area, that would be possessive. So I'm just scrolling down here. Now the next thing, again, I'm bringing out my handy dandy ruler. You need to have 1-inch margins on the side of the paper. So let me point that with the cursor from here to here has to be 1 inch. And I'm thinking that looks like more than 1 inch. So you want to be careful with your margins. So the right and left side, top and bottom, all need to be 1 inch. So I'm just going to scroll down quickly to the references. You can see here that she had, yeah, indeed, I am seeing that this is going to be more than 1 inch. So you got to get those margins down to 1 inch. I'm taking a look here now at the reference. So you can see how it's Hockenberry, and she's got DH first, but it's Sandra that's first. And after the Hockenberry here, you're going to have a comma. Whoops. Oh, I didn't enable the editing. There we go. Sorry about that. All right, Hockenberry, comma, and this will be S-A, S period, A period, comma, and then it's not Hockenberry here, it's, will be Nolan second, so we would move Nolan. At any rate, I'm not going to do all that right here, but you need to get the authors in the correct order, so it's Hockenberry, Sandra, the S, comma, Nolan, and she's Susan, and then third and finally is Hockenberry Dan. So you want to get all of those names in the correct order. So she has the 2016 period. With this Discovering Psychology, it's in italics, that's great, but you've got to get this P, a capital P here. So then she's missing a period at the end, Discovering Psychology, period. And then she did a nice job here, 7th edition, not in italics now, but in regular font, period, New York, comma, New York, colon, Worth Publishers, period. So nice job on the rest of this here. And it looks like it's double spaced. She has the hanging indent. That's super. Okay, and so this will be the third and final paper, Tanisha's paper, that we'll take a look at in the interest of time here. So she did a nice job, running head, colon, humanistic motivation. She's got the page number in the correct spot. This looks good. You can see this all is set up properly. Trouble here with her in-text citations. I'm not going to dwell on that. I'm not going to take off for it on this particular post. I am only going to go in and look at your references. So if you haven't made corrections, I've really pushed the corrections in all of the posts up till now. And if you haven't made them, I'm just not going to keep telling you about them. I'm just going directly to the place that we emphasized in this particular week's um, post. So if there are little things that you haven't gotten to, you really need to go back and make sure you do them, because when you submit the paper to Dropbox, the points will be deducted if they're incorrect. So Tanisha, you did a nice job on this reference section. I don't know what this little kind of gray thing is behind the it's kind of like a gray shadow, and I see that on some people's papers, and I don't know if that comes from cutting and pasting. There's something going on there. You might want to try and get rid of it. But I see the names all written out here, including initials. That's really nice. And then she has her year publication period, Discovering Psychology. Again, you're going to need a capital P with psychology, right? And a period at the end of psychology. And then she has 7th edition without italics, and then the period after it. She has the hanging indent. It looks like double spacing. New York, comma, NY, colon, Worth Publishers, period. So that one's looking good the way it is right here. Go back now over your particular reference, make any corrections that need to be done, and then submit it. So I'm going to be taking a look at these over the next day or two. And when I see that the reference is correctly done, I will put in 10 points in your discussion section for number 4, discussion for research paper. And if you see that number 10 coming through, that means that it's all set. If you don't see it, then it means that you still need to make corrections, and I'll look at it on Sunday when the discussion closed. If corrections haven't been made, then that's when the points will be deducted for this particular research paper discussion. Okay, great. Thanks for all your hard work. Keep at it.